Welcome back to the first trade on Yahoo Finance. COVID-19, we know, is forcing businesses to accelerate their digital transformation, many of them having to turn their years-long plans into just mere months. Joining us now to talk about this on the road to recovery and what the business world is going to look like post this pandemic is Genpact CEO Tiger Tyagarajan. Tiger, great to see you again. Thanks for making time for us. How has this crisis sort of underscored the role of technology and digital strategy for businesses, do you think?
Alexis, thank you for having me on the show and the conversation. I'll start by saying that the world had been on a very secular adoption of digital and yearly using digital to transform their businesses for many years now. COVID-19 and the current pandemic and then the work from home transition that the whole world has gone through, I think has just significantly accelerated and will continue to accelerate that digital transformation journey, whether it is a number of businesses moving much more to online, or it is a much sharper adoption to cloud, or it is analytics on the fly and real time. Every one of those, I think, is just going to accelerate. We're already beginning to see that.
And Tiger, do you think some of the changes we are seeing in the workplace, when you talk to corporations, are these likely to be permanent changes?
Brian, it's a question that is right now being debated in every C-suite and in every boardroom. Number one, wow, we could not imagine that all of the work that we are now doing could be done from home. Number two, but the technologies we are using have always been around for some time. It's just that we didn't get a motivation to push us there. Now that we are here, when we go back to office, why does all of it have to go back to office? So I deeply believe, and we fundamentally believe, that every business in every industry will figure out what needs to go back and then how. And then, of course, what doesn't need to go back, because some of the things that we have seen work in a work from home environment has surprised us. I'll give you one example. As you know, we do a lot of finance and accounting work for large corporations. For more than 200 of them, we closed the books for the first quarter, all remotely, all work from home, both our teams and our client teams. 98% of them was done faster than ever before, between half a day and 2 days faster. And the balance 2% was done exactly the way it was done before. Then the question is, why can't we close the books from home?
Tiger, I'm curious how this is all going to change the talent pool that businesses have to choose from, because, in post or pre-pandemic, if somebody was living in Ohio, for instance, say, and was eyeing a company in Silicon Valley to work at, they'd say, well, in order to work there, I'd have to relocate my family and myself. But now, if we're all able to, or many of us are able to work from home, perhaps that person in Ohio is a candidate for that company in Silicon Valley. So how does all of this change the sort of the demographic of the talent pool for companies?
Alexis, it's a wonderful question. It's something that we think opens up a whole set of opportunities for those people to actually say, I'd like to join the workforce of so-and-so industry, so-and-so company. I don't need to relocate. Number two, for companies like us and many other companies, it opens up the opportunity to access talent that is much more global than ever before. I don't need to make sure that the person relocates to wherever our offices are in New York or Boston or Palo Alto. And these are not easy places to live in any case, even though they are great places to live. I live in New York City. I love it. But I know a lot of people don't want to move to crowded places like New York City. So I think it opens up that. I think the biggest opportunity is, what does it do to the ability to attract women in the workforce who had checked out and said, I don't want to do this 2-hour commute. I'm not interested. And all of a sudden they say, I can actually work for this great company in this great space, or other diverse workforces who, for a variety of reasons, are where they are and are constrained. And all that constraint goes away. So I think it opens up talent in a very different way. It's really exciting.
Tiger, to your point, the talent pool out there is tremendous. Do you think we're headed towards a major reskilling initiative, not just in the US, but across the globe? Listen, we've all had to learn new technologies pretty much overnight. But a lot of people, they're going to have to learn how to do business in this new world.
Yeah. So Brian, when we spoke at Davos, you remember, we actually talked about reskilling. And that was not in the context of the pandemic, obviously. It was in the context of digital changes and things you have to learn in order to be clever and valuable in the workplace and in the business of the future. And therefore, reskilling was a theme that had picked up momentum. in the last 3 or 4 years, a number of companies trying to figure out how to reskill their own workforce. For example, we had launched a campaign in the company 2 years back to build our own platform on reskilling, bite-sized, video-based, self-service, AI and machine learning driven, that gets served up based on the kind of thing that you're going to use tomorrow. That is on turbocharge right now because you know that 300 people serving a particular industry are not in that much demand anymore, and you want to reallocate them to 300 people needed in another industry, another space that they actually don't know. We've actually launched a significant campaign, and we reskilled and redeployed 3,000 people out of our 95,000 workforce just in the last 6 weeks. So it's on turbocharge for us. I think it's on turbocharge in the world.
Tiger, I was going to ask you, you do have a substantial amount of employees. You just said 95,000, truly a global company. You have workers in China, workers in India. Hindsight's 2020, but looking back, and the pandemic's not that old, all things considered, would you have done anything differently? What do you think you've learned by the way you sort of led your company through this very challenging time?
So I'll start by what we could have done earlier, even before the pandemic. I'll say a number of the collaboration tools and technologies we now use to actually conduct work, to work together as a team, were always available. And we used to use them. Question I have for my team is, why weren't we using them even more? Why weren't we allowing even more people to be hired in distributed locations? And we do that actually quite a lot, but did we do that enough? And the answer to all those questions is we didn't do it enough. So why couldn't we have done more of that? Another one is about half our people in our operating centers use laptops. The other half use desktops. The fundamental question on the table is, shouldn't everyone use laptops? Isn't that the world of the future? The power of a laptop is not that different for most business transactions than the power of a desktop. So why have a desktop? So I think, I just picked up two topics, talent and virtual and collaboration. Why couldn't we have done more? And the other one is why have desktops? So we are actually now implementing a policy where all people in the company will only use laptops. It provides more flexibility. Through the pandemic, our communication to the teams at every level has gone up, let's pick a number, 5 times. Yeah. And the question for me is, we've always been very good at communicating to teams in various ways, using video and town halls and so on. Why shouldn't it be at least 2 or 3 times bigger than what it was, more than what it was? Because employees want to engage. They want to understand. So, and that creates empathy. So a lot of things like that we've learned.
All right, let's leave it there. Genpact CEO Tiger Tyagarajan, always good to speak with you. And we were just joking off camera. Last time I saw you was in Davos. We were looking for a restaurant late at night. But wow, that feels like a different lifetime ago.
I wanted to come back a little bit, Brian.
It will. Tiger, always good to see you. Stay safe out there.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Alexis.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.